Hi guys, good evening everyone. In the last session, we discussed about what is cron job, why we need to go for cron job. We discussed about what is scheduling. Scheduling means we need to automate some work. Every day, I want to execute some script file at particular time. Instead of executing that manually, we can schedule that by using cron jobs. So cron job will have a syntax with the 5 stars here. For every star, there is a meaning. First star will represent minutes, second star will represent hours, third star will represent day of month, fourth star will represent month of year, fifth star will represent day of week. So some cron schedules, sample schedules we have seen. And whenever you configure a schedule, internally cron D is going to execute. That cron D is a background process to identify the schedule and execute that. Next one, what is Crontab file? Crontab file is used to configure cron jobs for the execution. Okay, you can open the file like this. You can check the content of that file and you can remove that file also. And how to work with these cron jobs we have configured here. So with this we understood what is cron jobs, how to work with cron jobs. Next one, here I have given one task related to find command and locate commands in the Linux. Okay, so here let's understand what is the purpose of that find command and locate command. Somewhere I have given that task. What is the purpose of find and locate commands? Okay, so the purpose of this find command and locate commands, they are used for file location search. So in the Windows here, if I go for the search here, in the Windows GUI is available, search option is available. So if I search with this .java, so it will show me all the .java files available in my machine. So it will show the location where the file is available in this machine. Similarly, I want to search for the files in the Linux machine. For that, we will use find and locate commands. Okay, find and locate commands are used for file location search. Okay, so here locate command will search for the files in the locate DB. So in the Linux machine, whenever we create a file, then the file's locations will be stored into its own database called locate DB. So whenever you use locate command, it will search for the files in the locate DB. If you use the find command will search for the files in the entire Linux file system based on given path. Okay, I want to identify where the file is available. So I want to know where the file is available. What is the location of that file? For that, we are going to use locate command and find commands. Okay, so let me connect with my Linux machine. Let me connect with my Linux machine. Let me start this Linux machine and connect with this machine by using git bash SSH client. One minute, machine is getting started. Let's connect, copy this one, go to the key pair location. Then execute. Yes, we are trying to connect with this. Okay, fine. Next, I want to execute a command called locate command, locate Apache. So here, locate not found, but can be installed with sudo apt install relocate. So let me install that locate here, enable to locate. So let me go for sudo apt install yum locate, enable to locate. Locate Apache. I'm going for locate command. It is not available. Sudo apt install plocate. Unable to locate a package plocate. So it is not able to, so I will check it, guys. So basically we need to install that locate command, and when you install that locate command, it will identify the file's location. In the same way, we can use find command also. Okay, I want to identify where that file is available with a name called f1.txt, something like this, ls-l. So here f1.txt file is available. So suppose, for example, I want to search for that file. Then I will use sudo find dot name -name f1.txt. So when I search for this, it is giving where that file is available in the current working directory. For example, sudo find, instead of this, in the home directory where the f1.txt file is available. I want to know the location of the f1.txt file. To find out the location of this f1.txt file, we are using /home/ubuntu f1.txt. So you can search for the files based on the name. Inside the user home directory, I want to identify where the f1.txt file is available. Okay, based on the name of the file, I want to search. Okay, search for the files which are having name as f1.txt. How can we do that search, guys? Using sudo find command /home. Inside the home directory, -name f1.txt. Okay, suppose I want to identify all the empty files which are available inside the home directory. For example, search for all empty directories inside /home directory. To do this, we are going for $sudo find /home -type f-empty. Okay, so when I use type f-empty, I want to get the empty files available inside the home directory. So here, based on the name, I can search for the file. Based on the type, I can search for the file. Sudo find /home -name f1.txt. So it is going to give you where the f1 file is available inside the home directory. In the same way, we are going to use f2.txt. f2.txt is also available inside the Ubuntu directory. Then let me go for f3.txt. So f3.txt file is not available in this location. That's why we are not getting any output. Okay. Next one, I want to search for all the empty files inside home directory. Search for all empty files inside home directory. Similarly, I want to search for all empty directories. Search for all empty directories. Empty directories inside home directory. So how can we search empty directories? Sudo find /home -type d empty. It is going to search for empty directories. Okay. Now, so let me check this one. ls-l. There are 2 files available, 3 files available. F1, F2 files are there, and task.sh. mkdir demo1 and mkdir demo2. Okay, so the content is available inside the home directory. Now I want to identify all the empty files inside the home directory. To identify the empty files inside the home directory, we are going to use a command, sudo find command /home, sudo find command /home -type f-empty. Sudo find command /home -type f-empty. Okay. Now, so if you see here, it is identifying the empty files here. Inside the home directory, Ubuntu directory, f1.txt is empty, f2.txt is empty. So here, instead of f, if you give d, then it is going to show empty directories. So inside the home Ubuntu, demo1 directory is empty, demo2 directory is also empty. So let me create one file, touch file. Inside the demo2, I'm creating one file with a name called m1.txt. Okay, now demo2 is not empty. Let us check the output. Only demo1 is coming as output. Inside the demo2, m1 file is available. Inside the demo2, m1 file is available. Are you guys clear with my point? Find and locate commands are used for file location search. So locate command is not working, guys. I will check it. So we need to install that locate, then only it will work. But currently it is not working here. I will check it and I will run. Find command we are able to use. Find command will search for the files in the entire Linux file system based on the given path. I want to search for the files inside the home directory based on the name, based on the type. Based on the name f1.txt, where the f1.txt file is available, where the empty files available, what all the empty files available inside the home directory, what all the empty directories available inside the home directory. Okay. Similarly, we can identify what are the files which are created 30 days back. I want to print 30 days old files in the Linux machine. Print 30 days old files in Linux. Okay. To print 30 days old files in the Linux, we can use a command sudo find command dot. So find -m time represents 30 -print. Okay. M time I'm giving with 30. That means the files which are created 30 days back, only those files will be displayed. Okay. The files which are created 30 days back, those files will be displayed here. Print 30 days old files in the Linux. Then I want to delete 30 days old files inside the home directory. So what are the old files available? Those old files I want to delete. Okay. Sudo find command inside the home directory. Find sudo command sudo find /home -m time 30. If I use print, the files will be printed. If I use delete, then the files will be deleted. If I use print, the files will be printed. If I use delete, then the files will be deleted. If I use print, the files will be printed. If I use delete, then the files will be deleted. Okay. Print 30 days old files in the Linux machine. Delete 30 days old files in the Linux machine. Okay. So basically, this find command, locate command are used for searching. Find command and locate command is used for searching. So m time is a command here. So m time 30 days old files we are going to get. If you print, it will be printing. If you use delete, then the files will be deleted. Okay. What is the purpose of find command and locate commands? Find command and locate commands are used for file location search. So I want to identify where is demo.txt file in the Linux machine. So for that you can use find command. So find command is going to search based on the given path. In the entire Linux file system, you can identify where that file is available using find. Locate command will search in the locate DB, but currently here, when I use locate, it is not able to recognize that, guys. So generally we will use locate Apache. So command is not available, but they are saying to install it by using plocate. But when I use install also, it is fine. I will check it. Why it is not getting installed here. So you got the basic idea. What is the purpose of find and locate commands in the Linux machine? What is the purpose of find and locate commands in the Linux machine? They are used for searching files in the Linux machine. To search the file location. They are used to search the file location. Okay. Locate DB. Linux will maintain internally one locate DB. Suppose I have created files here. F1, F2, demo1, demo2, something like this. So these file locations will be maintained in one internal database in the Linux machine. That database is called locate DB. So when you use locate command, that locate DB, it will search and it will print the location of the files. But find command, directly it is going to search in the entire Linux file system to tell you where that particular file is available. Okay, very good. Next one. Someone asked yesterday, sir, how to write a shell script to take the backup of the files. So I have given you a task to take the backup of the files. Anybody tried that? How to write a shell script which is used to take the backup of the files? Come on. Write a shell script to create easy to user home directory files backup. Anybody tried this? Did anyone try how to take the backup of these files? Come on. Did anyone try this? Okay, let us see how to write a shell script to take the backup. So I am going to specify /bin/bash, which shell we want to use to execute our shell scripts. Okay. First one, what is our backup directory? From where you want to take the backup? Okay. So I want to take the backup of /home/ubuntu. Currently, we connected to this Ubuntu system. Who am I? I am Ubuntu user. What is my present working directory? Ubuntu. So here backup directory /home/ubuntu and source directory. Source directory means from where you want to take the backup and where you want to create that backup directory. Source directory also I'm taking as the same. So whatever the files which are available inside the Ubuntu directory, I want to take the backup, and my backup file also should be created in the same directory. In order to take this backup, we are going to use tar command. So tar file I want to create. To create the tar file, some arguments we are going to pass, cjvf we are passing, then backup directory, whatever the backup directory we are taking. This is a variable and this is the value. So use this variable backup underscore directory / the file name I want to create as a backup underscore data. For the date I want to use, year, then %m month %d. Okay. So date I'm going to use. I want to specify a file name like this. Along with the date I want to specify extension .tar.gunzip will be available. Okay. Then specify from which directory you want to take. From source directory I want to take. So tar is a command. So I want to take the backup from this. In this backup directory, I want to create a file. This is the name of the file. So in the /home/ubuntu, I want to create a backup file, backup underscore the date with .tar extension. So the data which is available inside the source directory, I want to take as a backup. So this is the script which is used to take the backup of the files. So taking the backup of the files, nothing but what are the files available in this location? I want to create one tar file with that. I want to take the files which are available in this location and I want to create a tar file. The tar file name backup underscore date. Backup underscore date we are going to specify. Are you clear? You can use zip also, you can use tar also, anything is fine. Okay, so let me create that script now. vi backup script .sh. Go to the insert mode and keep our script here. Go to the insert mode and keep our script here. So this is used to create the tar file. Okay, so tar file I'm creating in this backup directory location. File name backup underscore date. The date should contain year, month, and date. The file extension .tar. Source directory. So source directory we are going to specify by using variable name. So source underscore directory is a variable. To access the value of the variable, dollar of variable name, we are going to specify, then save that file. Save that file. Okay. This is giving the source directory. Perfect. Now let us execute this script. Before executing, let us check. There is no backup tar file available. Let us create backup tar file. ch backup script.sh. Now, when I execute backup script.sh, it is creating tar file from the member names. So whatever the data that is available, now it is created in that. Let us check it. ls-l. Now you can see my backup tar file is created. Here is not coming as expected. So let me remove the file and let me create again backup y.j. So vi backup script.sh. So in this, here is not coming. There is a mistake. To get the year before y, I need to use percentage. Then it will consider the year. So when I don't give the percentage, just y is displaying. When I give the percentage, then year should be displayed. Okay, ls-l backup tar file is not available. Sh backup script.sh. So I'm able to execute the script. Then ls-l. Now you see, with the today's date, my backup tar file is created. In that backup tar file, whatever the data available in the user home directory, all that data is taken as a backup and created one tar file. Okay, this is the script that is used to take the files backup. So from which directory you want to take and where you want to create your backup file, that you can specify. So I want to take the backup from the source directory. What all the files available in the source directory I want to take, and I want to create a file with a name called backup_date. Then that file should be created inside the same directory with the extension as .tar. We are using tar command. If instead of tar, you can use zip also. You can create a zip file also with your backup. You can create zip file also with your backup. Are you clear with this one? Are you clear with this one? CZVF. C is nothing but create. Okay. V means verbose. F means what all the files that you are creating in the backup. So whenever you execute this command, it will print all the information, what all the files it is adding inside that backup directory. The files information will be printed. So if you observe, let me delete it again and create. Remove backup underscore that 24 tar.zip file. I have removed it. Now ls-l. So I'm going to execute it again. Sh backup script.sh. So it is printing all the information. So czvf here, czvf create, then verbose and files. What all the files it is creating inside the backup file, the file names will be printed. What all the files it is creating inside the tar file, all that files information it is printing. Okay, those are arguments that we are passing. Perfect. So with this we are able to understand what is find command in the Linux and how to create a backup file by using shells. Just we are using tar command in order to create the backup. All right. So with this we completed our syllabus for Linux guys. So we discussed about several Linux commands. So let me take it. What are the commands that we have learned in the Linux operating system? So in the Linux operating system, around 44 commands we have seen here. Whoami command, date command, cal command, pwd, cd, ls, touch command, rm command, mv command, cat command, tag command, rev command, cp, def, compare, word count, history, head, tail, grep, vi, set, awk, user add command, password command, id command, user delete, user mode, group add, group delete, chmod command, chown command, ping command, wget command, curl command, ifconfig command, zip command, unzip command, pre command, top command, htop command, link command, yum command, systemctl command we have seen. Then we discussed about Linux architecture. Okay, so kernel will be available, shell will be available, hardware components will be available. Then we discussed about shell scripting in the Linux. We discussed about shell scripting in the Linux, right? So as part of shell scripting, what all the topics we have learned, guys? As part of shell scripting, we discussed about what is a shell, what is a kernel, what is a shell, what is a kernel, and why we need to go for shell script, okay? And how to write a shell script file and how to execute the shell script file, and what is scripting, why we need to go for that, what is shabong, what is variable, what is the difference between system variables and user defined variables, what is bash rc file, how to deal with the command line arguments, what is the meaning of operators, what is the meaning of conditional statements, how to use them, looping statement, function, and scripts for practice, okay? Printing system info using script, taking backup using script, taking files backup using script, okay? And we discussed about cron jobs. We discussed about cron jobs here. Got it. So these are the commands, Linux commands we practiced. Linux commands we have practiced in our course, and what are the topics that we have learned in our shell script. Okay, good. Next one, some interview questions related to Linux operating system. Some interview questions related to Linux operating system. Okay, so Linux FAQs. Right. I have prepared one document, guys. I will update that document in our website so that you can see the question and you can see the answer. 100+ questions we prepared on the Linux. Okay. What is a kernel in Linux? You know that. What is kernel? Can you guys type the answer? What is a kernel in the Linux operating system? What is kernel in the Linux operating system? It is the mediator between shell and hardware components. It is the mediator between shell and hardware components. Okay. What is kernel? What is the shell in the Linux? What is the shell in the Linux? Okay. So next one, how do you find files in the Linux? How do you find files in Linux? How do we find the files in the Linux? By using find command, we can find the files available in the Linux. Okay. Then what is the purpose of grep command? What is the purpose of grep command? Grep command is used for searching the content in the file. It is used for searching the content in the file. Content search in the file. If you want to search for the files, then you can use find command. If you want to search for the content in the file, then we will go for grep command. What is the purpose of chmod command? Explain chmod command. What is the purpose of chmod command? It is used to change file permissions in the Linux. Okay, it is used to change file permissions in the Linux. So how to create link files in the Linux? How to create link files? To create the link files, we are going to use ln command. Symbolic links we are going to create. Soft links we are going to create, like shortcuts that we are going to create. Okay, shortcuts we are going to create by using this ln command. Next one, how do you check system resources usage in the Linux? How to check system resources usage in Linux? For that we will use df command. So df command is used to display system resources in the Linux machine. What is the CPU usage? What is the memory usage? All that information we can get by using du command in the Linux. Disk usage. Okay. What is the purpose of explain the role of /etc/password file. So what is the meaning of /etc/password file? That is containing all the users information. So what all the users we created, the users information will be maintained inside /etc/password. So if you want to print all the users available in the Linux machine, then we are going to use cat/etc/password. Okay. How to check the network connectivity in the Linux machine? How to check network connectivity in Linux? Okay. So to check the network connectivity in the Linux machine, we will use ping command. By using ping command, we can check are we able to connect with that Linux machine or not. Okay. How do you deal with the services in the Linux? How to start, stop, restart the services? How to deal with the services in Linux? So to deal with the services in the Linux, we are going to use systemctl command. To deal with the services in the Linux machine, we are going to use systemctl command. Okay, fine. What is the purpose of cron jobs in the Linux? What is cron in Linux? What is cron in Linux? So as we discussed yesterday, it is used to schedule the jobs. Okay, it is used to schedule the jobs. Right. Next one. How do you manage packages in the Linux? How to manage packages in Linux? To manage the packages in the Linux, we are going to use package managers. For the Amazon Linux, we are using yum package manager. For example, I am using Ubuntu machine. So this is my Ubuntu machine. How do we install the softwares in the Ubuntu machine? Yapt package will be available. Sudo yapt install Java. Okay. So it is going to unable to install the Java. Sudo apt install OpenJDK, something like some software name OpenJDK, sudo apt install Maven. Unable to locate the package Maven. Sudo apt get. I am not getting any packages. Sudo apt get. Basically apt package. I think there is some issue with the machine base, so I am unable to install it. Basically apt is the package manager that we are going to use, right? If you are using Amazon Linux, then we are going to get yum package manager. When you go for Ubuntu, we are going to get the yapt package manager. Okay. Then how do you create backup in the Linux? So we have seen already tar command we are using to create the backup. How to create backup in Linux? By using tar command or zip command, we can use that. So can you explain what is SSH command? Explain about SSH command. SSH nothing but secure cell connection. Explain about SSH command. Okay. So explain about SSH command. It is used for secure cell connection. So now here if you observe from this Windows machine, I want to connect with the Linux machine. I'm using git bash. So in this git bash, what I'm doing, SSH command I'm using. This is the PEM file, username @hostname of the machine. So if you want to connect with this Linux machine, then we are using this SSH command with the PEM file location, username @hostname. So this is called our SSH command, which is used to connect with the Linux machine. Okay. Next one. How do you monitor Linux machine system performance? Okay. How to monitor Linux VM Linux system performance. Okay. Top command. What all the processes are running? So to check the performance, we are going to use htop command. Top command or htop command that we are going to use. Okay. So fine. Next one. How do you check the processes which are running in the Linux machine? To check the processes, we are going to use ps command. PS command will tell you what all the processes which are running. How do you kill a process in the Linux machine? Kill command. Kill space, whatever the process ID is available, that process ID you can use to kill that process. Okay. How do you kill a process in the Linux machine? How do you check processes which are running. PS command we can use to check the processes. How to kill a process in the Linux. How to kill process in Linux. To kill the process in the Linux, we are going to use kill command. We are going to use kill command. Okay, good. Then next one, what is the purpose of sudo command in the Linux? What is sudo in Linux? Super user doing. Any administrator access that you want to perform, that we are going to check by using sudo command. Okay, fine. How to check the IP address of a Linux machine? How to check IP address of Linux machine? What is the command to check the IP address? How to check IP address of Linux machine? What is the command to check the IP address of the Linux machine? ifconfig command we are going to use. ifconfig command we are going to use to check the IP address. Okay. How do you manage user accounts and groups in the Linux? How to manage users and groups in the Linux? How to manage users and groups in Linux? Okay, user add command, group add commands are available. You can create users, user add command, user deal command, user mode command, group add, group deal, group mode. Like that, there are several commands available in order to display, in order to manage users in the Linux machine. Okay. Next one. Here, guys, you can see one command called uname-a. Uname-a command is going to give you the Linux machine details, Linux machine IP address. Okay, what flavor of Linux machine we are using. So the Linux machine information. How do you check the system information in the Linux? By using uname command. How to check Linux system information? By using uname command, we can check that system information. Okay, fine. How do you check the running processes in the Linux machine? How to check running processes in Linux VM? PS command. Okay, you can use PS command, which is going to display the running processes. PS command will display the running processes in the Linux machine. To kill the process, kill command we are going to use. Okay, kill command we are going to use. Next one, how do you change file permissions in the Linux? How to change file permissions in Linux? What is the command to change file permissions in the Linux? Which command? chmod command we are going to use. Okay, how to change ownership in the Linux? How to change file ownership? How to change file ownership? To change the file ownership, we are going to use chown command. For file permissions, we can use ch. For the file permissions, we can use chmod command. For the ownership, we can use chown command. Okay. So for the system information, we used uname command, uname-a, or else we can use cat/etc os release also. Yes, this command also we can use to print the OS information of this Linux machine. cat/etc/os release. This command also can be used to check that information. Okay, good. Either you can use uname command /etc/os release. Cat etc/os release. This is also printing the Linux machine information. Okay, good. Next one. Ownership we can change by using chown, and permissions we can change by using chmod. Okay, good. Next one. What is the purpose of grep command? So we discussed about grep command. How to search content of the file. How to search content in file. To search for the content in the file, we are going to use grep command. We are going to use grep command to search for content of the file. Are you getting my point? Grep command is used to search for the content of the file. How to check the system execution time? In the Linux machine, how we will check the system execution time? Uptime command. So from the last 35 minutes, my system is running. So we can use a command called uptime command. How to check system execution time. So from how many minutes, how many hours, from how many days this system is running, that you can check by using this uptime command. Okay, good. So how do you check the listening ports in the Linux machine? How to check listening ports in Linux machine? To check the listening ports in the Linux machine, we can use a command called netstat command. Netstat command is not available. We need to install it. Sudo apt install. So it is installing the nettools. Once the nettools is installed, then we can use the netstat command. It will display what all the ports which we are listening. What all the ports are used in this Linux machine. Okay, let's go for netstat. So when you use netstat, it is going to display all the ports which are listening. Right? Netstat command. By using netstat command, we can see the listening ports. Right? Okay. So the local address and what port numbers it is listening, we can get that information by using netstat command. If a netstat command is not available, then we need to install that netstat by using package manager. How to check listening ports in the Linux machine? Okay. Can you tell about Linux distributions? What is Linux distribution? What is the meaning of Linux distribution? Linux is a free and open source operating system. Linux is a free and open source operating system. So many distributions available for Linux, like Amazon Linux, Ubuntu Linux, CentOS, Debian. There are so many distributions are available. Okay, so people will use any distribution according to their requirement. Okay, good. What is the purpose of vi command in the Linux? What is vi in Linux? Vi nothing but visual editor. Vi nothing but visual editor. So if you want to edit the file, then we can use this vi command. Okay. Vi editor. If you want to edit any particular file in the Linux, then we can go for this vi editor. How to delete 2-month-old files? Any file which is created 2 months back, I want to delete it. How can we delete it? How to delete 2 months old files in the Linux? So which command we can use to delete 2-month-old files in the Linux, guys? How to delete 2 months old files in Linux? How to delete 2 months old files in the Linux? Come on. How to delete 2 months old files in the Linux? Find command, mtime. Find with mtime, we are going to use to delete 2 months old files in the Linux. Okay. Which Linux machines you are using in your project? So in the real time, which Linux distribution used in your project? So guys, in the real time, we are going to use RHEL distribution. So paid license servers will be used in the real time. So RHEL based flavor Linux machines, Red Hat based Linux machines will be used in the real time. Okay, Red Hat operating system, Red Hat Linux we are going to use, that is paid Linux distribution. Amazon Linux, Ubuntu Linux, SUSE, Debian, these are open source, but RHEL based Linux operating systems are commercial. They will provide some support also. Red Hat organization will provide the support for the Linux machine. That's why in the real time, we are going to use RHEL based Linux machines in the project. Okay, good. So these are some common interview questions that they will ask from Linux. What is kernel? What is a shell? How do you find files in the Linux? What is the purpose of grep command? How to explain about the chmod command, how to create link files, how to check system resources, explain the role of etc password file in the Linux, how to check network connectivity in the Linux, how to deal with services in the Linux, what is cron in the Linux, how to manage packages in the Linux, how to create backup in the Linux, what is SSH command, how to monitor system performance, how to kill a process in the Linux, what is sudo, how to check IP address of Linux machine, how to manage users and groups in the Linux machine, how to check Linux system information, how to check running process in the Linux machine, how to change file permissions in the Linux, how to change file ownership, how to search for content in a file, how to check system execution time, how to check listening ports in the Linux machine, what is Linux distribution, what is VI in the Linux, how to delete 2 months old files in the Linux machine, which Linux distribution you are using in your project. Okay, these questions they will ask. Fine. Good. grep command and awk command. What is the difference between grep and awk? Grep is used to search for the content. Awk also is used to search for the content. But what is the difference? Grep versus awk versus sed commands available. Right? Grep command will search for the content based on the pattern. AWK command is used to process the structured data. If your file contains the data in the form of rows and columns, if your file contains the data in the form of rows and columns, then in order to process that data, we are going to use AWK command. Then what is sed command? Sed command nothing but stream editor. You can replace the content, you can insert, you can delete the content of the file without opening the file itself. Without opening the file itself, you can insert or replace or delete the data in the file by using sed command. AWK command, if your file contains the data in the form of rows and columns, then in order to process that data, we are going to use AWK command. grep command directly search for the content based on the pattern. Suppose I want to search for the lines which contains the error keyword. I want to search for the lines which contains the error keyword. So it will search for the lines which contains that keyword and print all the lines which are having that keyword. Print all the lines which are having that keyword. Are you clear? grep, AWK and sed commands. 2-month old files we are going to delete by using find command with mtime. Find command we are going to use. For 2-month old file, 60 is the number. Jyoti Sivaraj. 60 is the number we are going to use. User account management. User management we already discussed. User add command. So whatever the questions that are there, so for all these things we have done. User management we have done by using these commands. These all are used for user management and group management in the Linux. All these commands are used for user management and group management. All good. Perfect. I'm going to update this notes in our portal. Okay. So you guys can use this for your practice. I'm going to update the notes. Please check it and confirm whether you are able to access the latest notes offline. Yeah, guys, all of you, can you check it? Are you able to access the notes? I have updated these notes in the portal. Can you check it? Is it updated? No, it's updated, guys. Refresh the portal and access it. Good. Thank you.